So excited to get back to the sport of sailing here on Off the Podium and a new discipline of sailing. We've never covered windsurfing on the show, and today we're breaking that drought with an athlete who is making his debut at the Paris Olympics in a debut category. There is a brand new windsurfing category at the Paris Olympics, IQFOiL, and I'm so intrigued to learn about this and about our next guest. He's been doing very, very well in the sport, particularly in the last 12 or so months, fourth in the last two World Championships, quota received for Australia at the Olympic Games, which he has been selected for, recently picked up a silver medal in an event in Paris, in France, I should say, and is creating a bit of history too. The first Australian windsurfer male to compete in the Olympic Games since the Sydney Olympics. So many things to cover in this interview. It's a pleasure to welcome to the show Grae Morris. Grae, first of all, welcome to Off the Podium.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's going to be an exciting time.
I like it when somebody's pumped and ready to go into that, which I actually just want to start on the one fact, which blew my mind when I read that stat, that Australia has not had a male windsurfer at the Olympics in 24 years, Grae. What has been happening in windsurfing in Australia? Why has it taken us so long to get you back? What's happened?
We actually had Lars Klepich in 2004. And so it's been 20 years. Yeah, it's super exciting time. The whole change of going from a regular board to a foil and kind of moving on into the future of windsurfing really helped with the selection criteria. Like Australian Sailing just got super invested and thought it was really great, and it also gave people like me, some younger guys, time to reset and start reinventing the sport, which was great. Everyone had to start from scratch, and I wasn't 20 years behind all the other guys anymore. So yeah, it's been awesome, and yeah, it's just great to have Australia back in the Olympics for windsurfing.
It is. I mean, you say 20 years ago rather than 24 years ago, but I mean, you're only 20, Grae, as we just were talking a bit off air there, which is crazy to think. I mean, were you alive when Lars was at Athens? I mean, I guess you would have just been alive as a very young baby, right?
I was very young.
You don't remember it is basically, you're not that the memory on that good. And Lars, if I'm not mistaken, he's our only ever windsurfing medalist, Barcelona, correct? Yeah. So that's just looking there potentially at some history, which we'll touch on in Paris. And we'll also touch on, of course, this new category and a little bit more about the sport. But let's start with you, Grae. Let's talk about your journey in the sport. How did you get involved in sailing and in particular windsurfing?
So I grew up probably, as a lot of kids did with sport, their parents or family members kind of helped get me into it. And one of the big ones was my dad. He loved sailing, loved windsurfing. He did competitions every weekend that we called family holidays. And I started joining in. Dad's pretty competitive, so we wanted a competitive son. And yeah, he just got me on the board and started coaching me. And every day, pretty much after school or sometimes during, which Mum doesn't know much about, we'd go to the beach and go windsurfing, and it just became from a really fun hobby to something I do as a job, something I do as a career. So
when you say school, I need to jump in there on that. So oh yeah, we're off to school, Mum. I'm going to learn everything today, and you just nope, going to the beach, son. Let's go.
Yeah. No, that was all through primary school and high school. If the wind was up and the direction was good, Dad was often knocking at the door.
Best parents ever, best dad ever. Take over your mum, but that sounds fantastic. We all wish that. But I mean, your dad, I believe, was a handy sailor himself, national champion. Is that correct? So I mean, I guess it's in the blood.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's a very well known windsurfer in Australia. He helped with getting a lot of the events together and growing the sport. And yeah, he helped get all the youth started up, and he's just been a really big name in windsurfing in Australia, and to kind of have him bring me up and get me where I am is really cool.
In terms of like obviously windsurfing, is so different to a lot of other sailing categories. If you sort of think about what you're watching when you're watching sailing and everything along those lines. Is it a case of that you're purely a windsurfer? Do you ever dabble and try other forms of sailing, or is it purely you're a windsurfer, that's it, you're never going to get in a laser or a 470 or something along those lines?
I'd never say never. The windsurfing is definitely a different type of skill, but also so is sailing. And to be the best athlete, you've got to be able to do as much as you can. And so I definitely, right now, I'm just a windsurfer, but I will be dabbling into other boats just to gain some experience and knowledge to help me with my kind of pathway.
It's not one of those ones, though, where you're like, say, a Michael Phelps, where you can do 4 different swimming strokes, right? Like, you're not going to be going to Brisbane in 2032, going in a bit of windsurfing and then jumping into a different boat. It's not quite that simple, the transition.
I wish there was a transition like that so that you could go for multiple medals at the games. But no, currently you pick one and you go for it.
Is there rivalry between, like, I know we've had many sailors on and I've asked this question before, but I always like hearing it from the different disciplines, right? What their version of it. But like, do you and Matt Wern have like a bit of a rivalry because he's doing something so different to like what you're doing?
No, we're all very good friends. We all want to kind of help each other. And I mean, Matt Wern, he's the best laser sailor in the world. He's one of the best sailors in the world, and he has a lot of knowledge that he can pass on. And so also I may have some things that the 49ers might like, or the kites, and we all try to work as a team just so everyone can get better.
I love hearing that because it's sort of, I think, like there's such a blanket over certain sports. Swimming was maybe a bad example, but let's look at cycling, for example. A BMXer is so different to a track cycler. It's sort of like certain things like that, and sailing's obviously on that same page. You very much, though, Grae, could have been in another sport, a bit of a rugby background. I actually read, though, that your other dream besides the Olympics was to play in the World Cup, but not for the Wallabies. You would have been playing for the All Blacks because your parents are Kiwis. I kind of feel we won here in Australia by stealing you and taking you to the Olympics as an Aussie. But tell us about the rugby and the All Blacks dream.
You grow up, at school, you have winter sports, you have summer sports, and sailing, windsurfing, I do every summer, and obviously had to do a winter sport, and it was rugby. Dad, huge rugby fan as well. Coming from Wellington, and Mum's from Whangarei in Auckland, and they both love rugby, and I naturally got into it. And being a huge rugby fan with New Zealand family, I naturally wanted to go for the All Blacks. And I went to Australian schools, so all of them have gone for the Wallabies, and I wanted to be a bit different, and I like winning, So I wanted to play for the All Blacks. I thought they're a great team that have great ways of doing stuff. And teamwork's one of the things that, especially in sport, like on the outside, people see I sail alone, but really there's a huge support team of physios, nutritionists, psychologists, my coach. There's a huge team behind it. And when you get that medal, it's not just a medal for you, it's a medal for everyone behind it. And that's why I think rugby, for me, really has invested that into my personality. And I believe the All Blacks are the best team at showing and doing the whole teamwork thing.
You do find, though, too, I feel a lot of Aussies will go for the All Blacks as well, because, I mean, I lived in New Zealand and I saw, obviously, how big it is there, but I do feel I find more Australians rooting for the All Blacks than I mean, maybe because the Wallabies haven't been good in about 20 or so years, but still, it seems a bit odd when a lot of Aussies, we don't usually do that with New Zealand, do we, by cheering for New Zealand?
I've got a statistic for you. Ever since I was born, the Wallabies haven't won a Bledisloe Cup.
Wow. Okay. That makes me feel old, and a lot of our listeners feel old, because I remember when we won the Bledisloe Cup, and I was very young back then, but that's... Great. So you literally just have no memory of, wow, that's why you go for the All Blacks.
That's why I go for the All Blacks.
That's crazy. That's an interesting. I know that stat of what the Wallabies haven't won at Eden Park since like the 80s or something ridiculous, right? So, geez.
It's pretty
Wow.
crazy stuff.
That is very crazy. But you were obviously a handy rugby player. This isn't just sort of one of these things where maybe you were doing this and this was a hobby. You could have been an All Black. I mean, you had to make a decision, didn't you, essentially at one point that you had to choose one or the other. You ultimately choose windsurfing. But how hard was that, and how close were you to pursuing the rugby career?
In the end, it wasn't a hard decision. Especially COVID started, so doing a lot of these team sports was a lot harder, and kind of windsurfing just kept coming my way and coming to me, and I picked windsurfing. But yeah, rugby was a huge part in my sport life, and I know that if I could have invested the time and effort, then I could have been a lot better, and it definitely would have been a pathway I would have loved to have taken. But windsurfing really grabbed me, and I had a love for the water for a very long time, and it's just been something that I've committed to and just kept improving at. And yeah, I love the feeling. So
two-pronged question with this part. I'll start with had rugby been the career you chose, and was it purely All Blacks 15s World Cup, or was like the Olympics sort of like, oh, well, I could, rugby sevens, like that's still an option? Like sort of what would have been that pathway had you chosen the rugby route?
Well, I never really thought of it like that. I just thought I love the game. I love how to play it. I love the team side. And I never really thought of what level of competition I'd bring it to. But I want to be the best at what I do. And so eventually it really turned into trying to become the best. But I think just being on like a club level and then just having a lot of fun with it and seeing myself improve over time, it would have taken me where I needed to go.
And then the other part of that, then you've chosen windsurfing, but again, I believe you're a dual citizen, so the Kiwis could have snapped you up then for the windsurfing. Was there ever, did they try? Or was it a simple case of, nah, bugger off New Zealand, this is Australia, this is where I'm going for windsurfing?
Yeah. No, it was thought about, but Australian sailing have showed a huge amount of support, and like I love Australia. It's I believe it's one of the best places in the world, and yeah, Australian sailing have really turned it on support wise, and there's a great bunch of people. And I think the decision of staying, it wasn't really a decision, but committing to Australia has been probably one of the best things I've done in a long time, and it's great, huge support, which is very well needed.
Yeah, well, they might not have lost the Bledisloe Cup in 20 years, but I think we've won more Olympic gold in sailing, so
You can say that again.
That's what it gets. New Zealand. Which I did see, though, explained a little bit too, the category that you're involved in. We're going to touch on that. But a bit of rugby thrown in this event, in the IQFOiL. It's been described as like cross-country race on water with a bit of rugby. That's what you've described it as. Yep. So, I mean, what you're talking about with that teamwork aspect of the rugby that you can take into the sport, it's, I guess, in physicality too, because this sounds like it's a very physical type sport at the same time.
Yeah, you have to be the same size as you'd probably be for rugby. I'm 100 kg plus and 6'4", and you still gotta be flexible. You still gotta be able to react quick, and so it all relates super well. But also the impact side of it, you take a lot of beating on the IQ, especially when you're trying new things and you're trying to really like get top speeds and all this stuff. You crash a lot, and it's not easy at the speed of 30 knots. The water isn't water anymore. It feels like concrete. And so you take the beatings, and you need to be prepared for it. And it's very similar to rugby on that side. You're just getting hit a lot.
I'm just baffled that you can be that weight on a sport that I would picture it being so agile and streamlined that you would need that. I mean, how heavy is the actual?
We're still agile.
We're still agile, I guess. Of course you are. Yes, you are. That's true. But how heavy is the boat? How heavy is I mean, again, correct me if I'm not calling it the correct term, but how heavy is what you are riding out there?
So overall, it's not about how heavy the gear is. It's actually quite light. And it feels quite free, but the whole side of the weight area is the more weight you can push down onto the hydrofoil. So essentially, the hydrofoil is airplanes under the water that are pushing the board up above the sea level, and the more weight you have against it creates forward speed, and it does make it a little harder to get up on foil. But I've found that if I can consistently get up the same time as the lighter guys, then being heavier, I will be faster. And it's all about being faster. The faster you are, the easier it is to win. And there's obviously a limit. Like, you don't want to be insanely heavy because you won't get up on foil and you won't be able to finish races just fitness wise. And so there's a fine line, but essentially the heavier you are, the faster you go.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And is it a case of when you're out there in the water, I mean, again, we're going to touch on how this works because I want you to explain it very well to us, Grae, but like that physical side of things, can you get a bit, like get your shoulders out? Can you sort of shove some people out, or is that kind of going to be counterintuitive to the whole speed aspect of the sport?
No, you're not allowed to touch other people.
Damn. Oh, well.
Yeah. There's it's a big part. If you hit someone else, it's probably on accident and wasn't meant to go that way. And there's a lot of damage and like to people and to gear. So we try to avoid that, but it happens. But yeah, if you do it on purpose, it's not good for you.
Not good. So there's not a strategy involved. There isn't just like, okay.
No.
Right, not like a demolition derby or something like that where you can just...
I hope no one's going on that side. That'd be scary.
Like you're so far ahead in the standings that you just take everybody out essentially by that last race. It's not that simple. So to clarify, how fast, what speeds are you hitting up to when you're out there on the water?
So we're hitting up to 30 knots. I think that's around 60, 65 kilometers an hour. And pretty much the average is around 27 knots. So we can go pretty fast, but sometimes fast isn't good. Sometimes you end up upside down.
You don't want to be taking off with the sort of the parts underneath it. And how can you explain, so with IQFOiL, I was reading that you've competed in about 6 different categories of windsurfing. So there's obviously a variety of different windsurfing categories, and we've seen many at the Olympics, but IQFOiL making its debut in Paris. So how does this differ to what we've seen previously in previous Olympics?
In the previous Olympics, we were on boards that only had fins, so they were connected to the water at all times. And now, kind of the future of sailing, especially in the America's Cup, is everything is on foils now, on hydrofoils. So you're above the sea level. And the racing is just a lot faster. Everything should be a lot smoother. And yeah, it's just a lot more exciting, I feel. And so that's the big difference between what we've been on to what we are on now. And it's a lot more fun to watch, I think.
I was going to say, the footage that I've seen of it is just insane. Like, it's just, we made jokes back sort of in Tokyo, and we, with the commentary about, sailing maybe not the best spectator sport if you're on the land, you got to have binoculars and everything along those lines. So we were like, add Pirates of the Caribbean music, make it exciting, all that kind of stuff. But like this is just insane to watch. I mean, this is just, it's so fast, it's action-packed. It literally looks like you're flying. And I mean, is it crazy? Does it feel like you're flying? Like, because you look like you're floating above the water. So I can imagine that's probably the feeling you're getting out there.
Yeah, no, for sure. We feel like we're flying everywhere. It's an awesome feeling, and it's great to be involved in it because it is the future of sailing, and this is just the beginning. It just gets better, it just gets faster, and it will just keep evolving over the years.
That level, what you're saying, like the future of the America's Cup, like the foils, everything. I mean, this is a tangent that will connect to what I'm trying to ask here, Grae. I'm a big Formula One guy. There's a very famous Formula One designer, Adrian Newey. At the day of recording this, he's just left Red Bull, and people are saying, is he going to a different team, or maybe he's going to the America's Cup? That's been a passion of him. So I guess my question is, like, given the aerodynamics and things that are involved in things like foils and that, are you having key designers coming to the Australian sail team to help you out? I mean, how regulated is that for the Olympics? Like, I mean, I guess, can you tell us about that element, sort of the design aspect of the boat?
Yep. Yeah, so aerodynamics is a huge factor. It's the same as anything. Like in cycling, you want to be as smooth as possible. You don't want anything getting in the way, and it just makes you a lot faster and everything a lot smoother. But because we're a one design class, pretty much whatever we get given, we're not allowed to change, and so everything's super good though. The foils are really nice and the sail's really good, but we're not allowed to change it past what we're given.
Right. So you can't like tinker it and kind of get there on the blocks basically after each competition and go, well, if I did this, it will make it slightly faster.
No, there's things that are legal that you can change, but it's not like you can add or customize kind of the board or anything. So there's different things like settings of the gear that they give you that you can manipulate.
Am I correct in calling it a boat? Correct me. Like, tell me, what am I meant to call it? Is it a boat?
A board, a boat. Yeah,
boat?
Yeah.
Somewhere in between. Okay, right. Sort of like that level. And so do you have then, so you were telling me a little bit about off air that you'll be sort of based in Marseille for a bit over a month sort of before the game. So is your boat right now in Marseille? Do you bring that back to Australia? Kind of what's travel like when you're going around the world with this boat?
Yeah. So I've got a few sets that hang out everywhere, so I'm not traveling with it all. And so I've got one at home so I can train with, and then I've got a few in Europe, which just makes it logistically easier. And the kit's super small, so it's easy to put in the van and put it just in storage and leave it there for a few months, which is nice. It's not a big boat, so you
don't have to like leave it at a marina basically, you know.
No, you can put it in a container, you can put it in the corner of a yacht club. Like it's super easy to just have it around really.
And in terms of then what you will use in the Olympics, so do you choose that sort of beforehand and you've got the one? Like if you damage it, can you get a backup? Like what are the rules and restrictions around sort of the craft that you are allowed to use during the Olympics?
So we get supplied equipment for the games. We just got given our sets. So we get 4 sets of foils, and the rules are you can't touch any of them, as in sanding or filling or fixing any of them. So how you get them is how you use them. And if you do scratch or break one of them, then essentially you have 3 others.
Right.
So you got to be really careful because you have to test each of the sets so that you can figure out which one's the best that you then submit to the games. But while doing that, you don't want to scratch it, you don't want to break it, and you don't want to do anything bad to it because it's not possible to fix it.
Because how durable are they? So like if you're there for a month beforehand and you're out in the water and you're wanting to practice, train, everything along those lines, like can you smack the crap out of them for a month and they'll be good to go on July 28? Or do you have to go, okay, well, this one's good, but then I need a brand new one for day one?
Yeah. So I'll find out what kit I want to use for the games, and that will take me a few days, and then I'll put it aside. I won't touch it until day one. And then I have my own personal gear and that I'll train with. And you do rotate around, like the sails stretch out and stuff like this. But the gear is really good. Starboard and Severn have done a really good job in making sure that the gear lasts and its quality and its high performance. So they've done really well. But yeah, you have to swap out some stuff every now and then just to make sure you're still training at the highest level.
Do you name your boats, Grae? Do you give them names?
I haven't. A lot of people do.
We can come up with that. I mean, if you want to start, like I'm happy to help you.
Maybe. I haven't, not yet, but I'm thinking about it. Maybe my games board will get a special name.
Well, I'm always open. Like, again, I had a bobsled named after me in Beijing, and Bree Walker took that to 6 at the Olympics. Wasn't quite a medal, but we do. I'll bring him in early. We usually bring him towards the end, but we have a show mascot, Grae. We've got Cherry, who's our official mascot for Off the Podium. Now, he's a a battered chair, but he's also a champion chair. He's fought through adversity, won gold, and fought through all the the hardships that he had. So if you're after somebody who's tough, mentally strong, and can come through to bring you that gold, Cherry could be your board.
He sounds like someone I need.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know how he'd go. I don't know if you put a hydrofoil on him or something like that to kind of go there. Do you think he'd go well in windsurfing?
But
yeah,
he could be good for the job.
Yeah, there you go. You could paint, I don't know, you're probably not allowed to add custom things on an Olympic boat, but if you can sneak a sneaky Cherry on it, call him Cherry, boom, gold medal,
Easy.
You're welcome. It's that easy. That's how easy it is to win Olympic gold.
Sounds like the new board's going to be named Cherry.
There you go. I like that. I expect you when, Channel 9 have got a microphone in front of you and you're like, it's all down to Cherry. Cherry got me the gold, right? I like this. I like this, Grae. I like this, Grae. In terms of the training, though, outside of being on the water, I mean, that physical aspect, I talk about being agile. You're talking about sort of, the strength and everything and that sort of stuff. What's a gym day for Grae like? Like, what are you working on to try to keep yourself into peak performance so you can perform at your best out there?
Yeah, a lot of it's injury prevention. So, getting stretchy, getting down on the ground, and just making sure you can still bend the right way. And then personally, I don't like going heavy weights. It's just not worth it in my mind, especially being younger. So I tend to go for light weights, more reps, and get the heart rate going and try to get a sweat on. So that's my go. I feel the more I sweat and the more effort I put in, and the better I feel afterwards. And maybe I won't feel so bad when I go to Jungle Charlie's or something and get a big feed.
What is the big feed? Like, is that just kind of the reward that you go for afterwards? Like, bugger it, I'm going down.
yeah, pretty much.
Works that way. What are the injuries? Like, what sort of injuries are common in windsurfing?
I've had a few just impact injuries from crashes, and they're not too fun. But it happens. I think it happens in every sport, and just if you're, especially because the crashes happen so quickly, pretty much 1 second you're up sailing around, and then before a millisecond later you're under the water, not knowing which way is up. And so it happens so quickly, so it's hard to stop it while it happens. But being kind of prepared beforehand with gym work and injury prevention stuff, you can save yourself some ordeals. But yeah, just mainly impact stuff. And if you don't let go in time, you could pull some shoulders, but it's nothing too insane.
Nothing too bad that way. This might be a really dumb question, but I think you're going to understand where I'm going with this. The sport is windsurfing, so wind is very important in that sport.
Yeah.
I mean, how... are you just constantly always looking at the weather? Is that kind of like a windsurfer's number one app on their phone? Is like the weather app that's in that local area?
Yeah. Well, yeah, pretty much. It's when you wake up in the morning, you look at the weather. It's just a daily thing, and we're a bit strange windsurfers and pretty much all sailors, because a lot of normal people, they'd wake up, look at the weather, and they want to see sun and no wind so they can go down on the beach. And if we see sun and no wind, we get a little upset. But as soon as we see wind, we're the happiest people in the world.
You love every second of it.
Yeah, we're a little strange. It doesn't matter if it's sunny. It doesn't matter if it's pouring down with rain. As long as there's some wind on the chart, then we're out there.
Is it a sport that if it is sunny and no wind, is it just off? Is it basically, can they call it off? Do you have to have a certain level of wind essentially before you can compete?
Yeah, so our class, we need 7 knots to get started, and if it's below that, we'll try to get some racing done, but it's not possible to get on foil. There's other boats that don't have a foil, so they need probably a little less wind so they can get races going. But for our class specifically, to do races, you need to get on foil, and you need a certain amount of wind to do that.
And I guess strategy-wise then, so if it hits the minimum and it's, I guess, is it called a slow day, and then you've got a high wind, so it's a fast day. So are you the type of sailor who prefers it maybe a bit slower, a bit faster? Like, is that sort of come into certain types of athletes in the sport as well? They prefer maybe one over the other?
I used to be the fast guy. I like wind. I like getting it done. But that was the old grey, and I've found out that if you want to win and if you want to be the best, you got to be the best at everything. And so now I've moved past that, and kind of no matter what the conditions are like, I want to be out there and I want to be the best I can at it, just for when that day does come on the water.
I love that. The old grey, the
old grey was looking for maximum wind, kind of trying to get it done. But now, anything counts. I'm on the water. If it's too light, if it's too windy, just the whole lot. Because
ready to go.
What's going to happen during the regatta,
ready to go with that one there. Can you give us a bit of an oversight on how it works? So I'm seeing here it starts on very early in the program, obviously 28. So it's 2 days after the opening ceremony. You've got 3 days of competition, day off, another day of competition before the medal round. So is it a simple case of it's just same race every day? Is it a different day, different types of races? Like, kind of what can we watch out for when we're watching it during Paris?
We will be doing different kinds of racing, depending on the wind and depending on what the race committee wants to give us. And so we have 3 different types of racing. We have a course race, which is around the 15 to 20 minute mark, and that's upwind, downwind course racing. And then we have a marathon day, which they can get us going anytime they want, and that's an hour of racing in a longer track. And then we have a slalom day, which tends to happen in the lighter winds, where it's a reach downwind into 2 reaches onto the finish, which is it's a sprint slalom. The race goes for about 3 minutes, and normally it's full max heart rate the whole time.
Wow, 3 minutes. That's fast.
Yeah, so we have a 3-minute race, a 15-minute race, and a hour-long race. And then for the medal race day, which is going to be the most exciting to watch, that's when the top 10 all battle out in three different races, a quarterfinal, semi-final, and a final, to essentially get on the podium. And so it's all up for grabs on that last medal race day, and those races are about 6 minutes.
Wow. So it's basically, so in a way, are those sort of lead-in days, are you accumulating points? Like, so that helps where you're obviously seeded on those days, and it obviously helps you sort of there. But like also on the flip side of that, if you have kind of a pretty shit lead-in into the medal day, but then on the medal day, you can still win medals. Like, it's sort of, you're not eliminated after a certain point.
Yeah. So each race, whatever position you go across the finish line in, that's the points you get for that race. And essentially, less points in the end, the better. But yeah, if you do not have such a good lead up, you end up in 10th going into the medal race, you still have the opportunity to win the whole regatta.
Wow. Okay. So good.
It's really audience driven. So we like people to watch it and see it's on that last race of the whole event. Whoever goes across the finish line first wins, and it's not points based. It's all about going across the finish line first, and it just makes it a lot more exciting from the outside. It's a bit tough on the athletes because you could be winning the whole regatta and then end up third. But it just makes it really exciting to watch, and that's what I believe what our sport's trying to go for. We just want more people watching to see how exciting it really is.
Well, that does make it very fascinating, because I know generally in sailing, it's kind of one of those sports where a lot of the time you'll find out in the middle part of the Olympics that, Matt Wern's, 5,000 points ahead. He just needs to rock up tomorrow when he's already won a gold. He may as well get 3 gold. He's that far ahead. So, like, that's kind of what you sort of get, right? But this is like, tune in, kids. You're going to watch this on that day, and you're going to get this excitement.
Yeah, it's huge, and it's going to be really exciting. There's going to be tears. There's going to be laughter. Like, it's going to be a mixed emotion day, that's for sure.
Which is also even what you're explaining there with the different forms of races. Like, that kind of goes back almost into what I was saying about swimming. Like, each of them sounds so uniquely different. You're doing a marathon for an hour, but then a 3-minute one. Like, I mean, how do you even begin to strategize for those sort of things? That's a massive difference between races.
No, you just got to go in being as open as you can and not with no expectations. Don't expect that you're looking at the forecast, and don't expect that it's going to be all the slalom races, the short races, and plan for that. You just got to be ready on the day for whatever they give you. And in the end, it's also up to the race committee for what they want to race. And so you really got to be the best at everything.
So that can change.
The final day.
So that's weather dependent. So like you don't wake up on the 28th and go, well, I'm definitely doing slalom today. Like, well, actually, no, you're doing marathon today, mate. You're doing slalom tomorrow.
Pretty much, yeah. It's especially the race committees lately at our last two events have been a little strange. They've been racing course racing, in which we normally do in above 13 knots. They've been racing that in the really light wind stuff, and so. I don't know why, but I guess they're just showing us that they will do whatever they want on the day. And so it's been a real big wake-up call. I was the same. I went from waking up, looking out the window, going, definitely a slalom day. And then I get to the boat park, I get out on water, and they're setting up a course race. And so your expectations got to be low, and your outcome's going to be high.
That has blown my mind, Grae, because I'm trying to think of another sport in which you would wake up and you literally don't know what you're about to do. Like they don't turn around in the swimming and go the 4x200 medley. Oh, today you're going to start with breaststroke. You know, they don't change it up. It's the same. And even with any other sort of modern pentathlon, the heptathlon, the decathlon, things where you're doing different things, it's structured. You know what you're doing each day. That to me, it makes this so unique. This may be the most unique sport I've ever heard of at the Olympic Games. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's pretty insane, but it's bloody fun.
I can imagine. I'm tuning into this right now. And I mean, this might go back into what you said about the old grade was this way, now you got to be prepared. But is there a speciality? So if I'm tuning in and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, they've got the slalom, this is Grae's speciality, I know to look out for him. Like, do you have one of the three that is your preference?
Yeah. I used to be the as long as it's windy, I was up there and I was more confident. But now I've put a lot of focus in the last year. I've improved my sailing and my results, which means I can fight in the front more. And I'm really discovering. I have discovered what were my highs and lows of each race and each event. And now it's taken about a year, but I've gotten to a point where I believe no matter what comes my way, I will be able to pull it off into a win. And it's a great feeling to have going into that day, knowing that the guy next to you is only good at one thing, and he's praying that it's going to be that one thing, where I'm going into the day and I don't need to know what it's going to be, because I'm confident that I've done the work and I've had the experience that I know I'm going to be good at everything they give.
Love that attitude. That's what I want to hear. That's what Australia wants to hear. That's what New Zealand wants to hear. What they're missing out on.
Exactly.
I love that. Cherry's going to kick some ass with that. Tell us about the Corso in Marseille, the sort of the venue there. You obviously did quite well at the test event last year, 4th, and again, you're going to be based there for a bit of time before the Olympics and a bit away from Paris. For people who don't know the geography of France, obviously, we're sort of at the other end of the country. But tell us a bit about the venue at Marseille.
Yeah, venues are really cool. It's security guarded off, but we have all the classes all together, and we launch off of a beach. We have a big tent for all of us to hang out in and keep our gear, which has security as well. And yeah, it's a beach right on the water and there's I believe there's a viewing kind of area for people to watch. And then also the road goes all the way around the cliff that looks over the water as well, right where I know the windsurfers, we will be racing right out front, so people can definitely come watch us, where some of the other boats have to go to courses way further out. But yeah, we're right front view. And I think the only hard thing to watch will be the marathon, but still you can get your eyes on it.
I just say just queue up the Pirates of the Caribbean with the binoculars and
I'll recommend it.
Just blare it out in the speakers, which, I mean, it makes it a very unique I guess, situation for you and all the sailors, because you are so far away from the central hub of the Olympic Games. So, of course, it's not like you're in the village, you can, day off, go watch the swimming or something like that. You are so far away. But I guess that also makes it a bit of a community for you guys, because it's kind of like the sailors have got their own little Olympics almost going on, right? So, I mean, how do you think you're going to look forward to that level? And are there plans after your event to maybe duck up to Paris and go check out some other events at all?
Yeah. Oh, sometimes it's a little annoying that we're further away, because it'd be great to finish your day of racing and then go get your mind off and support the other Australians and in the other sports, and go just witness everything else that happens around the Olympics. But because we are racing earlier, we are given the time before the closing ceremony to go into Paris if we like and watch everything, which I think is pretty good. We can focus and lock in to the sailing and be in our community, but then after we can get the rest of the experience of the Olympic Games by going and staying in the athletes' village and watching everyone else. So there's the highs and the lows of it, but I think we got it pretty good.
Do you have plans to go to Paris? Are you sort of looking at the schedule after you finish and going like, oh, basketball that day, athletics that day? Like, you kind of sort of looking about what you can maybe do?
I haven't looked at the schedule, but I'm definitely going to go into Paris and obviously check out the rugby, check out the basketball, and just go support and show our faces. We want people knowing that sailing's here, and we want people knowing that we're there to support. And so for sure we'll go scream out some Aussie, oi, 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 and get known.
I want to touch on your last 12 months or so and how well it's going. But one thing I actually wanted to touch on, sort of getting that excitement for the Olympics, you were part of the group who revealed the team uniform in Sydney a couple of months back. You had the great looking jacket on and all that kind of stuff. Are they moments that sort of hit you, Grae, that what you've achieved, that you've made an Olympics, when you're sort of standing alongside Eddie Ockenden, Charlotte Caslick, these legends of their sports in different versions of the Olympics, and he's 20-year-old Grae Morris standing alongside these guys?
Yeah. Oh, it definitely set in when I was standing up there with all those legends, and it was like a great honor to also be invited up on that stage and to show off the uniform and to be a part of it. I love being a part of all the as much media stuff and as much Olympic and Australian stuff that they have to offer, and just helping out. But it was awesome, and it really set in the realization of it's all coming together and it's all happening. It was a great day.
Is it also one of these moments where you go back to that decision where you chose between rugby and windsurfing, and obviously the goal, you said, sort of reaching the pinnacle in your sport, it's the Olympics for sailing, but you have achieved that. That was the right decision. Here you are, you're about to go to an Olympic Games.
Yeah, no, it was for sure. Stood there thinking this is going really well. But I grew up doing sport, and obviously if you're doing sport, you do it to win, and there's a lot I'd go through to win. And I think if I chose rugby, I'd definitely be doing as much as I could to be in a similar area. But windsurfing has definitely been the route that I took, that I think has gone pretty damn well.
Well, it's going pretty damn well, because the last 12 months, two fourths at 2 world championships, fourth at the test event. You got a silver at the time of recording this in the weekend at an event in France. And I mean, this is boding very well. This isn't you just going to an Olympic Games to break this male windsurfer drought for Australia. You're looking to break this drought of nearly 30 years, or more than 30 years, since we've won a medal in this sport. I mean, how are you feeling right now? We're recording this 2 months out from the Games. But like, how are you feeling, Grae? Like, you're going this to win a medal, aren't you?
Oh, 100%. Especially in the last 12 months, it's been the realization of this isn't a game anymore. Like, I'm not going just to put on the uniform and walk around with a smile. I'm going to bring home a medal and do something kind of great for windsurfing in this country. And I believe that we could have the same interview in 3 months and I'll have a medal around my neck. So I think I definitely know I'll be going there for a medal, and pulling off the gold will be just awesome, really.
Well, you're open invitation on the show, Grae, medal or not. Having said that, we expect you to win a medal now that the boat's called Cherry. I mean, it's just kind of off the podium expectations. But I also want to say that those fourth places, I mean, fourth in a test event, fourth World Championship, fourth World Championship, that is off the podium. Now that you're off the podium, you're going to get on the bloody podium so we can make that better. Stop. This is the one time I will say on this show, don't be off the podium. Fix that.
Well, I will. I'm sorry, I forgot to let you know, but so my first Worlds in 2022, I got ninth. I came into the medal race and fourth. This is also to show the big play in the medal race. Was I went in fourth and came out in ninth because of one race, and so where points wise, I was in a position to only gain if it was a medal race like everyone else's.
Wow. Okay.
And then my next Worlds, I fixed some things, and I went in sixth and came out in fourth. And so it's all about those little improvements, and I'm figuring a lot of things out that are helping me.
Well, it's working, but I'm still seeing too many fourths, Grae. What I'm saying is like you don't get too comfortable with that number 4.
No,
right?
it's not happening. I'm the same. I'm sick of not getting on that podium as much as I should. So I'll be changing that. And I got on the podium in the last event, and I'm not planning on leaving it. So,
well, I guarantee you in our post-Paris interview, when you were on that podium for one episode, we will rename ourselves On the Podium just for you.
Not hashtag not fourth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is. I like how that works with that, because it's sort of, I guess, you're talking about what it would do for windsurfing. Now, as we've obviously touched on, it's been a while since we've gotten that medal, since Lars got that medal, all those years ago. But how important would it be to give some exposure to the sport, particularly given that we are 8 years away from a home Olympics? There's some kids out there right now who are going to reach that age in 8 years' time and are going to be representing Australia on home soil. I mean, just how important would a medal, or even a very good finish that would bring the attention to the sport to help get more people involved and get Australia more on the world stage?
Oh, it's super important. We also have a really good youth coming through that train almost every day. They love it. We just had a few boys come over to Europe, and some girls, and we're definitely gaining the amount of people we have in the sport. And I want to be a good leader to them as well. I want them to be able to look up to someone within their own country and go, it is possible. And I've shown that I've gone from one end of the result page to the other within months, and I've shown that it is possible. And to pull off the final part of the games would just be like sealing the deal, I believe, for our youth squad, and showing them that if they really put in the work they want to, it is inevitable that they will be there. And so it will be huge to come home with a medal, just to show everyone that it's possible, and it's not just a dream, or it doesn't have to be a hobby. It can be something that you can put your every single day, and like we all love doing it, so why not do it properly?
Was Lars that person to you as a kid, like sort of the guy who had gone to the Olympics, won a medal, and is he kind of that person that people looked up to, and then you can become that next person to look up to take over from Lars?
Yeah, Lars was he's always been around. He's always been someone to look up to, especially in the last couple of months. He came to our nationals, and he came to some of our training camps just to have a talk and be friendly with us, so that we can all look up to him as well. Because he's an Australian windsurfing legend, and also just a great guy. And it's been great to have him join us and rekindle his Olympic spirit. And so he's huge into helping us kind of move on to where we're getting to.
Love hearing that. And it's also the thing that I always love whenever we get a sailor on this show, Grae, is the fact that we all go gung-ho into an Olympics, and it's swimming, it's cycling, it's all these sports that, we know we're good at. But I never think sailing gets that recognition of how good we are in sailing, because this is a sport that we have not, there's only one Olympics this millennium that we have not won a gold medal in, and that was Athens. But other than that, we have won multiple gold in multiple Olympics. It's always that one sport that usually saves the medal tally. If we're not having a good Olympics, all of a sudden, boom, he's 4 gold medals thanks sailing. So it's always the savior of the sport. So between yourself, between Matt, through all the great athletes in sailing who are representing in all the different categories, you need more attention. You need more recognition, because I'm sick of us just remembering that you guys exist on day 13 of the Olympics. No, this is minus day 70 right now. Remember the fucking sailors. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. We are way too humble.
Yeah, well, you need to come on, Grae. Like, get out there. I've seen the TikTok page. It's getting out. It's getting some traction. Australian Sailing are doing a great job promoting it. We've dealt very well in organising this interview. I'm getting you all pumped up. Be cocky. Be bro. Come on, you do it.
Australian Sailing, they are really turning it on, and we got a great media team, and we are really gunning to turn on the sport and get people from kind of all places, all sports to get involved. And I know a lot of people are getting really interested in just watching. And I think also the IQFOiL, the windsurfer, has been a huge part in that. From the medal race system, it's just so exciting. And we do live streams of most events, which a lot of people in Australia have stayed up all night to watch me, even if sometimes I do mess it up and I'm on the live stream for a couple of minutes. They stay up and watch. And so we're really trying hard to just show what we are to everyone, no matter if they sail or if they don't. We're trying to let them understand how cool it is and what we do. So yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it. If
you need a cheerleader, I'm happy to help out there. I don't think you need it. You guys are doing great with it. But I'm pump out the. Thank you. I would. Thank you. You're the first person to ever say that to me, Grae, and that means a lot. So I appreciate that. Before we get into our final set of questions to wrap this up, one thing too I want to just touch on, obviously, is Paris. First time since Rio, really, that sort of family members and friends can sort of come along to the Olympics, obviously, after what happened in Tokyo. I mean, sort of, have you got the Grae Army coming along with you to Marseille? Like, how many of the family, the friends are sort of going to make the journey along to cheer you on?
No, of course I do. I wouldn't be able to go there without them coming. So whole family has been huge support in getting to where I am. I definitely wouldn't be here without them. So it feels right having them there. And also a lot of our friends that have been a part of the journey, they're definitely going to get there and pay their support. And it's going to be awesome to, come in off the water and have some friendly faces to go back and talk to, go get some dinner, and just help out. I know Dad will be watching every part of it and getting back into his coaching side and seeing what he can improve. And it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Do you have like a team, like for your, like Team Grae, 50 Shades of Grae, the Grae Blacks, the all Grays? Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, kind of, is there something we can have a hashtag T-shirt merch made that we can get behind it?
There has been something going around. It's Go Grae Morris. There's Rafferty Reid was a commentator for one of our events, one of my events that I started doing really well in, and he started saying Go Grae Morris.
Go Grae Morris. I like it.
Yeah, that started catching on, and yeah, parents love it. Everyone's been saying it these days. So
you can shorten the hashtag GGGM. Go Grae Morris. Hashtag GGGM maybe, and then
pretty much
get in there and get that. It sounds very like Inspector Gadgety. Go Gadget. Go Grae Morris. You get you on like a. Inspector Gadget. Like, I'm just trying to think of merch opportunities here for you, Grae. Raise some funds.
My hashtag is the one I like is What a Day to Be Grae. So
smart.
That's one that I could put on a shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, Go Grae Morris and What a Day to Be Grae.
That's your first. That's your quote that when you got the gold and you got the microphone in front of that before you thank Cherry, like, ha, what a day to be Grae, and then boom. Yeah. Trending on X. That
rolls off the tongue.
It does. That's really good. Oh, yeah. I hope Channel 9 are listening to this, because I think their commentators need to steal these as well. So, just...
They definitely should.
Welcome. You're welcome, Channel 9. Great. We wrap up every single interview with a set of get-to-know-you style questions, which, as always, are based on a questionnaire that was given to Team Canada athletes ahead of Rio and Pyeongchang. They were given a written questionnaire, which they then published on their website. So there is a drawing element if you wish. It's optional. First of all, how are your drawing skills? Are you a drawer or you do avoid it?
They are horrible.
Horrible. That makes it even more fun if you want to do it. So if you want to draw a picture of yourself, a picture of an Australian animal or a Canadian animal, and a picture of a teammate, you're welcome to, and you can send it in to us. So how creative are you feeling between now and the Olympics? Otherwise, we'll stick to you winning a medal and calling us on the podium.
There's a lot of time to be spent on a plane, and I think this is going to help me out very well.
That's how I need to sell it to our guests from now on, rather than just going with it's an optional thing. Like, your task on the plane to Paris is to draw a picture. You know,
we got no excuses.
If you really don't.
No, there's 20 hours of nothingness. You may as well, right?
Exactly. There you go. We're coming up with some good things on this. Let's start off with the first question for you, Grae. Who to you is the greatest Olympian of all time?
Oh, big question. Jesus.
We go hard on this show at the end. We make you think before we let you go.
Not easy. I just have to go with someone I kind of looked up to and watched since the beginning, and that'd be Tom Slingsby. He's been a great mentor and a great friend, and also just I watched him growing up, and the work he's put in has been huge, and he's really made a great lifestyle in sailing. And I know a lot of people who look up to him, and so Tom Slingsby is probably
great answer. Again, more sailors need to be answered in this question, so I take that. I'm scared to ask you this question because I know your age, and you're going to make me feel really old by answering this question. The first Olympics you remember watching was?
Probably 2012.
It's not too bad. I thought you were going to say Rio, so at least that's kind of okay.
2012.
I'll take that. That's not too bad. Your favorite ice cream flavor is?
A choc top or a jelly tip?
Oh, jelly. Yes. Thank you.
Legendary.
You know what it is because you're half Kiwi. Of course you know what it is. But like when I lived there, I lived off them, and the tub one was like even better than the actual. Oh yes, jelly tips.
Dude, every time I land in New Zealand, I go straight to one of the supermarkets and get a 6-pack of them.
Bloody yes. That is just more New Zealand culture like that needs to be known. I'm just saying, jelly tips are on point. They are incredible.
Everyone listening, when you fly to New Zealand, go get a jelly tip.
Jelly tip, box of them. They are incredible. If you were a baseball player, what would your walk-up music be?
Probably can't give you a song, but probably some like classic jazz.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that. Gets in the mood. Yeah. Go out there.
Calm down and get the job done.
Why isn't there in sailing? You want to appeal to the fans. Make it a bit like, how swimming now when they come out, there's the big screens and the big flags and they're listening to them. They're in their robes. They're all like, it's almost like boxing. So can we do that in sailing, do you reckon?
So just get a few helicopters with, some big TVs under them and show us off. Come
Brisbane 2032, we should have that down point. Like, woof!
You're going to need a big speaker for that, but
why not?
Should be done.
Exactly. I like this idea. If there was a movie about your life, who would play you?
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
There you go. Great answer. That's. Do you think he's into sailing? Has he ever tried to get The Rock into sailing at all? Anybody in the World Sailing Federation?
The Rock don't float, so I'm not sure.
Hang on a minute, he was in Moana, wasn't he? He was the voice of, the guy in Moana. So I like where you're going with that. Growing up, I think I know the answer to this one. We've sort of talked about him a lot, although you might have a different answer. Growing up, who was your favourite sports team?
The All Blacks.
All Blacks, yes. Do you follow Super Rugby? Are you a Hurricanes fan, given that your parents are from Wellington? Or
Yeah, it's definitely Hurricanes fan. But but we watch it all, and whatever New Zealand team's playing, whoever, we tend to go for them. But Hurricanes are at the top.
How then are you influenced in Sydney around sort of things like NRL? I mean, I'm from Tasmania, so to me, growing up, all forms of rugby were the same. You know, at one point in my life, NRL, Super Rugby, it's the same. Obviously, it's not. But do you sort of get bitten by the NRL as like a Warriors fan, or you don't really care?
No, I played mainly Union, so I watched it as well. I didn't watch much NRL, but I don't know. I just watch it if it's on and have a good time.
Go that way. I found it because I lived in Invercargill, at the very bottom of the country. That's a whole exact reaction you should have. So I found it very unique, sort of the scene down there. But I got on the Highlanders train. I did a lot of media stuff down there with the Highlanders, so I couldn't help but get in the Highlanders. So
nice.
I never had a team in Australia because, again, Tasmania doesn't have a Super Rugby team. So who are we going for? Your guilty pleasure snack is?
Jeez. Can there be multiple?
Of course there can.
I don't know. I try to sneak a few Tim Tams over to Europe. They don't have them over there, so I got to take a few. Yep. But also just a slab of white bread with way too much Nutella on top.
I like that. That's good. Yeah. Okay. I'm seeing chocolate here, but Tim Tams and that. Things that are horrible are the best, though, right? Like, we've all got that horrible food that no one should ever consume, but you absolutely love it.
Tell my mother any of this.
Your mum's never listening to this interview, from skipping school to going sailing to eating.
Oh my gosh, she will freak.
Just do not listen to this, Mum, at all. Do you have a go-to Tim Tam? I mean, there's like 50 different varieties now. Do you have a favorite?
Oh, the double chocolate.
Yes.
More chocolate the merrier.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I like that. Actually, I'm not going to skip that one because that one's always a hard one to answer. The most recent TV show that you binge watched is?
Jeez. I don't know. I can't remember the most recent one, but I definitely binge watched. What's the zombie one?
Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead. Yeah, I binge watched that a few months ago.
Nice.
There's been some others that I can't pick them up though.
Are there any sailing? Like, I know Netflix and sort of there's always a documentary in all sports now since like Drive to Survive sort of came a thing. So is there any like sailing ones that people can check out?
Yeah. There was one about the America's Cup that Australia won off of America for the first time. Can't remember what it's called. Probably look it up, but that's a good one. That is quite interesting. Then what else? There's it's not a documentary or anything, but the Sail GP.
Oh, yes.
The World Tour that is on this weekend actually in Bermuda.
Okay.
That if you can get your eyes on that, that's some of the most coolest racing to watch, and it happens pretty regularly. So that's,
check it out.
One, but that's more just a sport channel.
I always like sort of checking those things out. Yeah, we're sort of in the golden age of sporting documentaries, and I always find it interesting. I mean, obviously, again, growing up in Hobart, we would always have the Sydney to Hobart ending there every year, so you would sort of always be exposed to that level of it. But it's fascinating. We'll check it out. We'll check it out. Your biggest fear in life is? Deep question.
Not winning.
Not winning. That's the athlete's mindset. See, I'm looking here at the answer here that Canadian swimmer Emily Overholt gave. She said, waking up with a spider on my face. We just call that a Tuesday in Australia. So
it's just that's early morning, protein snack.
Exactly. That's breakfast.
Yeah.
Get in there. But I like that. I like that answer. What is, and there's the last question for you, what is the one thing that you can't live without?
Probably Jesus. One thing I can't live without.
Something you can't tell your mum because she's not listening to this, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a different one, but I think maybe the it's not a particular thing, but not coming home. Like coming home is quite a nice part, and you always kind of look forward to it. Well, I always do, at least. Like being in Europe for a long period of time, I always have that kind of feeling to like looking forward to coming home and being back with the parents, being back with the family, and eating some of mum's cooking. It's always a nice feeling, and I think I'm not sure how I'm going to do when that feeling isn't there anymore. But for right now, I live on that.
You take it right now, and just the added incentive, Grae, of winning the Olympic gold medal, right? Okay, so let's just go through the pros that will come with that. Cherry's an Olympic gold medal. You get to drop all the grey lines. You got an Olympic dream, creating history for that. You also get to be on a stamp, and you also get to fly home to the welcome home parade in business class via Qantas. So have you ever flown business class before?
That will be a first when it happens.
An incentive. Like, who doesn't want to fly business class? If anything, that's the only reason why you want to win Olympic gold. So there you go. Yeah. Coming home is what you love the most. So boom, done. Easy. You're welcome. Inspiration. Great. Before we let you go, mate, if people want to follow you between now and Paris, social media, Instagram, TikTok, X, where can people find you?
On the Instagram, Grae.Morris is the tag, but yeah, Instagram is where I do all the updates and try to keep everyone up to date.
Well, we'll definitely be following.
If you really want to feel properly up to date, you go onto my dad's Facebook, Brett Morris, and he gets into detail. Like, right, he doesn't leave any stone unturned. If I had a bad race, he'll make sure everyone knows about it. Where I'm normally just
Grae was
keeping it happy. He quoted literally.
Wow.
One of them from a couple of years ago, he said, it was quoted, not a post I want to make. Grae sucked. That's it. Full stop. And that was the post. It was
so you're saying that during the Olympics, we should have him on every day when you're like competing, so we can have accurate depiction of Grae's race today from his father. Go.
So become friends on Facebook with Brett Morris, and you'll know everything. Like he'll say, day 4 World Championships, Grae can't sail. Like he's the man.
Wow.
I'll just tell you all the good things and go, great day, had a few ups and downs. No, he will get into detail, and that's what everyone wants to see.
It's the one thing that I don't want Channel 9 stealing from us. That's an off the podium exclusive daily content from Brett Morris. I love it. Great, mate. This has been an absolute pleasure. It's like I am more intrigued right now maybe than watching him than watching you. I'm sorry, that just sounds very fun.
I'm on the same page.
Best of luck for Paris. We're so looking forward to seeing this event and seeing you do so well out there, riding Cherry to gold. And we will get you back on post-Olympics, and we will call this show On the Podium with your way. The one condition, though, you have to be sitting here on that camera, and you have to be wearing the medal around your neck, though. You've got to promise that.
I'll be in the exact same spot, wearing the exact same clothes, just adding the medal.
Just a slight bit of the Eiffel Tower around your neck.
Exactly.
That's it. Great. We appreciate it, mate, and good luck with it all.
No, thank you very much for having me.